Welcome back to Bad Take Philly, the draft special. Today we're going to be going over our top draft prospects, players we like and players we do not like. I believe we're going to start off with corners. Brendan, you want to take it away?
Yeah, there's a few guys that are obviously like at the top of the list. Obviously, Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley are probably not going to be there. From what I've seen, Stingley's probably going to go in the top four. Sauce Gardner's, top 10. Sauce Gardner could go in the top four. But overall, I would like to see us get either Andrew Booth with our second first round pick, or if we end up trading back, if that ends up being the situation. And I would not mind Trent McDuffie out of Washington. He is a little bit of a risk because he's a little bit on the smaller side. And being from Washington, he didn't really get like the NFL talent at wide receiver to cover. So like that's kind of a red flag, but I'm okay with getting Trent McDuffie. What do you guys think?
I'm a big fan of Andrew Booth because he's a good zone corner. He played that a lot at Clemson, and he's a big competitor. Like a lot of the people that I would target are competitors. Like they really like love playing football, and Andrew Booth especially is a good tackler. He like really like enjoys the run defense part of the game, which is always good to see from your corner. And he also has the athleticism enough to, after like a couple years, we get him to be a good man corner. So I would definitely like Andrew Booth. McDuffie too. He's on the smaller side, but he's a really good zone and man corner. So he also could be a good player, but I'd probably take Booth over McDuffie.
Yeah, I'm a big Stingley fan. He's a little bit out of our reach right now, but there is a small chance that he could fall. And there's also a lot of talks that the Eagles are looking to maybe trade up a couple picks. So maybe we could jump up and get him if he starts falling to that 12-13 range.
Yeah, you never know with him because he was very, very good on the LSU national championship team. His freshman year, he was a true freshman. But he did have the injury, so he kind of took a step back. And I think a lot of teams look at him as a risk. So I think there's definitely going to be a team in front of us who does take the risk. But like you said, if we trade up, I'd be more than happy to get him.
Yeah, I think it's kind of maybe a little overgrown. Like Stingley, like after that 2019 season, like he was being talked up as, like when he, declares for draft in 2 years, like he's the number one overall pick. So like kind of hearing that. And then you have like the weird COVID year. And then this year, like the last 2 years, he kind of just like he didn't really need to prove himself as much just because he had that freshman year. But I think once he gets in the NFL, he'll really show his freshman year self again, and he'll be a monster.
Yeah, he was playing at an NFL level his freshman year. He was very good. And another guy who's really showing NFL talent on an all-time Georgia defense is Nakobe Dean at linebacker. So where do you guys want to go if we do end up getting a linebacker in the first round or even in later rounds? Where would you want to go?
I really prefer Lloyd over Dean. It's really only two linebackers I've looked at because there's only two that are projected to go in our range for the first round pick at least. But Dean obviously had that historic Georgia defense, and he was playing in such a good team around him that obviously he's definitely a good football player, no doubt about that. But he could be a little bit overhyped because he had such great talent around him, whereas Lloyd is just an athletic freak who stands out by himself.
Yeah, I think Lloyd, like there really is no true weakness to his game. He can rush a passer, he can drop back in coverage, he can defend against the run. Like he is a complete linebacker. I wouldn't take a linebacker in the first round though, because you have Hassan Reddick, that's kind of your pass rusher. You've got Davion Taylor, who I think a lot of Eagles fans are forgetting about. He's a really good cover linebacker. So you kind of bring him in on third downs and he can do that. You have Kaiser White, who also can cover. And then you have TJ Edwards, who's kind of like your middle linebacker run blocker. So I would take maybe like in the second or third round, Chad Mumma out of Wyoming. He's very athletic. He's kind of raw. He's only started for 1 year, but he has the size, the athleticism to be a good run block defender as well. So like TJ Edwards, like he's an okay player, but you take Mumma, you let him get used to the NFL, and then year two, he could really break out and be a good run defender for the Eagles. I think that's an immediate need for them. About Dean, I'm not as high on Dean, I guess, as other people. He's only like 5'11", 220. He doesn't really have great size. He's like kind of weak. Like he's good at what he does. Like he can blitz. He's a good man player, but I just don't see the whole package with Dean, I guess, that other people see. Like he makes plays, but I just don't think he warrants the first round hype. Like he's just not a really good run defender, not strong, just the undersized. That's someone I would stay away from.
Yeah, there's definitely two sides with Dean. Being on the Georgia defense, it was like we said, a historical defense. It's definitely like you can say he's the leader of that defense. He kind of was like the focal point. But with Devin Lloyd, he took that Utah defense and really carried them. And to be a top 2 linebacker being on that Utah defense instead of like having the pieces around you is really impressive. And again, he's way bigger. He's 6'3", almost 240. Like you said, Nakobe Dean does not have that type of size. There are some guys in the draft that do have size. I know you don't like Drake London in the first round.
No, I just don't think he fits, like, especially what we're looking for. Like maybe it's just the PTSD from another Pac-12 receiver known as the 50-50 jump specialist. You know, when the ball's in the air, it's actually 70-30. You know, I'm kind of, you know, just I don't like to hear that. Just thinking about Jay John a couple years ago. Drake London, like Hurts, I want to surround them with people that can get separation so you have easier throwing windows. Like Drake London, I don't think he'll get as much separation in the NFL. So it's going to be a lot of jump balls, back shoulder, and you need like that timing and accuracy, which I don't know if Hurts like possesses. So I would stay away from Drake London. Jameson Williams, even though he has that ACL injury, he's incredibly fast. He's a great route runner. He's a great separator. Like he can get open, and that's kind of what we need to surround Hurts with, people that can get open.
And we've seen ACLs, especially in recent history, not translate better, but they haven't been as detrimental to players' careers as, say, an Achilles injury would be. So I don't think we're too worried about Jameson Williams' current ACL tear, besides him missing the first couple weeks.
Yeah, hey, I mean, if we want to build a all Bama offense, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Some of the other guys that Garrett Wilson's probably not going to drop to us. I like Chris Olave a lot. He's kind of in our range. But for later rounds, if we don't end up drafting a wide receiver in the first round, I would love David Bell out of Purdue. A guy like him could be like a really good complement to Devontae on the other side of the ball. And there's guys like Christian Watson from North Dakota State. Sorry. He's very big. He's 6'5", 210, and he's fast. He runs he's 4.3 speed. So I would love to see them in later rounds if we don't end up getting one of the guys we want in the first.
Switching to running backs, because I agreed with you in the last video. I think that's a position that we might take like maybe round 3, round 4 with Sanders on the last year's deal. Someone I would target is Damian Pierce out of Florida. He's like kind of like Jordan Howard, but a little bit faster. But you saw with the offensive line that we had this year, like Jordan Howard, like came out of nowhere and had like a good season. So I think you can bring in Damian Pierce, who's like Jordan Howard. He's a really physical runner. He doesn't go down easy. He doesn't have the top end speed, but he could definitely take advantage of the big holes and break tackles, stuff like that. He's also a really good pass blocker, so you can have him in on third down. It doesn't really tip off the defense whether you're running or passing, because with him in, like, he's going to protect Hurts. He's not a liability on third down. He also didn't really get the ball a lot at Florida, like only 100 tests, like this year and last year. So he's got low tread on those tires, so he can come in and be really fresh, be there for a couple years, and also take stuff off of Sanders. Like, he doesn't have to be in on those short yardage situations. He can bring out Damian Pierce. Between Damian Pierce and Jalen Hurts, if we did draft Pierce, I would not be taking Sanders in fantasy football. Not a lot of touchdowns for Sanders, but yeah.
Even less than last year somehow.
Yeah,
even less than last year. Yeah, not looking good.
I like that going with Damian Pierce, because one guy I actually want to avoid is James Cook out of Georgia. Dalton,
but his brother.
He's doesn't have the size, and he's more of a pass catcher out of the backfield. And I think with our like dominant run game this season especially, I don't think we should go that route. I think we should go with power runners, guys like Damian Pierce, like you said. I like Ty Chandler out of UNC, and I mean he's probably going to go in like the fourth or fifth round, but it depends on where we take a running back. But yeah, there's a lot of guys who we can get in later rounds.
I think like this isn't an Eagles how we draft without talking about the D line. So I think a sneaky first round pick that just screams like a Howie player is Jordan Davis out of Georgia. He's just a mountain of a man. I think he's like 6'6", 370. But even though he has that size, he's just incredibly athletic. Like he ran like a 4.8, like at 370 pounds. That's just not human. So at Georgia, like you cannot block him like one-on-one against a run. He was making that play. You have to double team him. Even when you're double teaming him, that's still a challenge. He just eats up people in the run game. Absolute beast. The one thing he didn't do at Georgia is pass rush. I think he only had like 3 sacks and like 15 pressures, but Georgia didn't play him at all really on third down. So that could be like conditioning, like someone at his size, he gets really tired out after first or second down. So you have to take him off on third down. That could also just be that Georgia like had other people that they liked as press rushers to bring him in on third down. But he has the size and athleticism. You can bring him in, and you have great mentors in Fletcher and Javon Hargrave and Brandon Graham that could unlock that pass rush ability. If you can unlock that, you have an absolute stud on your hands to Jordan Davis.
Yeah, they can't double team everyone on that D line. So
Yeah,
Zeke, Saquon, Gibson. If you draft Jordan Davis, good luck running against us. You got no shot. No shot running against us.
all right, so just a real quick summary. We don't want Dean, right?
I mean I'm not complaining at all if we get Dean, but
And you might
favoring Lloyd.
We want Olave. We want Jameson Williams. We don't want Drake London, right?
No Drake London.
We want Pierce at running back in the later rounds, right?
Sounds good to me.
And Jordan Davis, you wouldn't complain about that?
I wouldn't complain about that. I just seems like something High would do. If he picked him, that would not be a shocker at all.
Yeah, as
right.
Eagles fans, I think we're all excited for the draft. And I'm gonna say this, knock on wood, but I don't think there's a lot of places for Howie to fuck up this year. I know he always finds a place, but there's so many players that he can pick, and I'd be happy with, and even guys that are just like I'd be okay with. So knock on wood, let's get a Howie A+ first round at least, maybe B+, A- realistically draft.
I'm really hoping
to be talking to you guys on Sunday, and he's drafted some day 3 like offensive tackle in the first round. Some
quarterback.
Yeah, like
Matt Corral's an Eagle.
Oh my god.
Well, I think that end this off. I think that every year there's 1 or 2 of those players that just fall a couple extra spots, and I think we're in that range at 15, or possibly we can even jump up a little bit to 12 or 13 to get one of those guys. Like a Parsons last year, where did he go? 11?
Late.
11.
11. So a player of that caliber that he fell a little bit. He was supposed to go inside the top 10. We can try to jump up and get a player sort of like a Parsons and really take advantage of someone falling like that.
Sounds good to me.
So, it's not up before. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys probably on Monday or Tuesday.